For thousands of years, the dead have haunted everyone.
In Germany, they're called poltergeists.
In Algonquin, it's the Chiadi.
Here in England, or America where we are, they're called ghosts.
People spend their whole lives looking for evidence of the paranormal. But tonight, ghosts are stuffed into everything.
And we're gonna find out why.
From the deepest depths of the dark web, dark of the night.
Hello, night crawlers, and welcome to Dark of the Night. I'm Eric Yearwood.
And I'm Alex Meyers. This is the show where we inspect the darker side of reality, the side that we all know is true, but some people deny.
That's right. Tonight's topic, we're talking about why are ghosts stuffed into everything? And Alex, as I look around the world, I'm seeing ghosts everywhere.
It's, you know how I feel about ghosts because it's the way you feel about ghosts, Eric. I like ghosts. I wouldn't be involved in the paranormal if I didn't like ghosts. But that being said, there's such a thing as, this is too much. You know what I mean?
Ghosts come in all shapes and sizes, and there can be nice ghosts, there can be naughty ghosts, and then there's just plain old mean ones that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole.
And then there's a fourth category that any ghost can belong to called there's too many of you. There's too many of you here. I don't want as many ghosts that are around me now here. I take... everyone needs personal space. Everyone needs space, Eric.
They need personal space, and because ghosts are immaterial, because ghosts don't have bodies, they're just spirits, they can be literally anywhere. Could be a ghost here that's halfway in through the microphone and halfway in my body. You could liken them to radio waves, microwaves.
You can liken them to, imagine being in a pool, right? But instead of water, there is an ass load of ghosts who you didn't, but you bought a pool.
And it's a gated community.
Yeah, so you're like, well, I'm going to go swimming in the pool. And in this case, the pool is a metaphor for just walking around anywhere on the planet.
And then when you're in the shower area and you're putting your clothes back on, there's one of them talking to you, and you're like, hey, put some clothes on.
Yeah, why are you stuffed in here?
So we've got an exciting show for you tonight. We're going to talk to an expert later on to find out a little bit more information about why ghosts are stuffed into everything. But before we do, we want to find out what ghosts are doing in the news.
Let's hop to it.
A woman who married a ghost of a 300-year-old pirate reveals their bizarre Valentine's Day plans. Alex, Valentine's Day came and went, but I'm wondering about your love life.
Valentine's Day is a day in which I the night before, I go to the store and I buy some things. And I use that stuff to make sure I go to sleep for a day. And when I wake up, Valentine's Day is over. And the reason I do all that, the reason why I get up to doing that, is that love is a false concept that ruined me.
I hate to hear you say that.
Well, you know, I was I knew I was going to get divorced before I proposed to this woman, and I did it. I went through with it.
I remember. And you were not a happy man.
And I remain damaged is such an understatement that it sounds like a curse word when I say it to me.
And you know, the reason I hate that you're so turned off to love is because I desperately want love in my life. Valentine's Day for me looks like buying a new pair of Ray-Ban sunglasses so that I can walk past restaurants and look in the window at people without them seeing me looking at them, and just watching them eat together and think, what must that be like? I guess I'm a little bit more of a romantic, you know?
Don't feel like you're missing out. I mean it. You're not missing out. I have two children, and I'm prepping them when it's my weekends to have them. I say, don't love anyone. And the reason I say that is because I know. And I'm telling you, I wouldn't say I like you. I'm not going to say I like you more than my kids.
I'm 38 and I've never had a relationship that lasted more than 16 months. So, yeah.
But what I'm saying is that's good. That's the dream. It's the dream. Don't you worry.
Be happy.
Here's what I'm saying. What would happen? Let's walk through the steps. What would happen? Let's move to it. Why don't we move to it?
We get a little deep on Dark of the
What
Night.
I'm going to say is, after this, let's grab a coffee and let's just slam that problem away. Let's go to our next headline, Brian.
I'll take you up on that coffee. In Thailand, the ghost business thrives. Boy, starting your own business is harder than it looks, but these people, they seem like they've got it pretty figured out. And it's one of the only things that Bangkok does that I'm not into.
Bangkok does it all. You used to be able to say, Bangkok does it all right. Everything Bangkok does is a good thing for Bangkok to do. But that's not true anymore, because what they're doing is they are selling out.
Well, just because there's, I'm a believer in small businesses. My father owned cosmetology schools for a long time, and even though I've never owned my own business, someday I imagine what it must be like to be able to tell people that I do. So I'm thrilled that in Thailand they're doing it. But I know you're a fan of old-time Bangkok.
Look, this isn't about...
Like, you used to tell me when you would go to Bangkok and come back, you'd be like, you gotta go because...
I can still go. Look, there's dozens of good reasons to just head on over to Bangkok. But that being said, this is not. If I wanted to sell out, I'm saying this to you now, Bangkok. If I wanted to sell out, I would go to a bank and I'd say, make me the manager, because you know what? I am in the paranormal. I'm involved in this field because I don't want to make any money, and I don't mind doing things with no money, because anything else. All right. Do I wish I had a bank account? No.
What's the next headline? Dad taking pictures of medieval castle with son spots strange ghostly figure when he looks back at images. This makes me think of going to medieval times when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
And just seeing my family and tasting that delicious turkey meat that was attached to that bone.
Yeah. That is so. See, you don't need, not to loop back and not to sort of throw a wet blanket over you, but don't think about that. It's awesome. Tell me about one memory, because it's going to put both of us in a cool place.
Well, one time we were in the Green Knight section, and I was waving to the Green Knight, who was riding around on a beautiful horse, and he came over, and I thought he was going to pick me up, and in a flash of a second, I imagined him lifting me up and putting him on his horse, and then riding me around the ring. And right then, my dad, he reached over and he said, "You're in timeout." And I never figured out what I did wrong, but I replay that moment every night before I go to sleep, and I wonder what that ride would have been like. So, but I'm happy that this father, apparently, this father, he was able to take his son to a medieval castle. And I'd like to do that someday just with my own inner child.
See, that's an awesome memory.
Yeah.
And it's everything about it, every component. It's like that memory is like the Beatles. Like every member of it is great. Everything in it is great. The band is great, the band being the memory, and George is great. Ringo's great. John, Paul.
Sure, but I don't have a Brian Epstein for that memory to make me take off my, put on a suit.
And I just heard you in the club. I just walked downstairs into the club, and I said, I don't know what the only part is I don't know the rest of what that metaphor means.
Well,
but
we need to get rid of Pete Best. We need a Ringo.
Yeah, the point. But Pete Best, the thing is Pete. In my opinion, Pete Best is out of the band, and you are touring.
Yeah, but I'm gonna stop playing live in about 5 years and just go. I'm gonna be recording.
Well, guess what?
Yoko's gonna come into the picture.
Dying alone is like getting killed when you're John Lennon. It's still awesome.
I never thought of it like that. Dying alone is like John Lennon getting killed.
Well, the point is, look, we all need. The thing is, what does it mean to have ghosts? To sort of bring it all back home.
Yeah.
What does it mean to have personal space? Well, if I was going to define that, it would be 1, having a clear view of your life. 2, not having ghosts just jammed in.
I mean,
everywhere.
They're crammed up every nook, every cranny is running with ghosts. It's the kind of thing that makes you want to take a shower.
That's right. It's that time. It's time for us to bathe ourselves in the cold light of just regular water.
But also we bathe you with music from another dimension, which is what we're going to do right now in shower time. Well, now that we are freshly showered,
We hope you enjoyed your own shower,
a sonic shower.
a sonic shower. I always enjoy my shower because it gets me ready for our deep dive, a very deep dive.
Tonight's subject is why are ghosts stuffed into everything? And boy, are they ever. There's hardly a thing or a place or a space where there's not a ghost just ready to pop out and poltergeist all over the place.
And Eric and I are on the same page at this. We like ghosts,
Yeah.
as we mentioned before.
Yeah. Ain't no shame in that game.
But there's such a thing as too much. That's why the words too much exist.
And too legit.
Yes. And it is too much and way too legit how many ghosts are stuffed into everything.
Why is this happening? Why are they doing what they're doing? There are a few theories. One of the theories is that hell is packed to the brim, like some sort of old garbage scow that's got just mounds of garbage and it's overflowing everywhere.
Imagine you're in the game Doom and you see one of those barrels and it's just like filled with lava or whatever they put in there in that game. That's where hell would be. And then if hell is that filled with souls, where are the ghosts going to go? Pretty much everywhere.
I think that that's a really, really smart theory. And we're going to test it out by going to the source. We're going to interview tonight's guest. We'd like you to meet Clorgon, Maester of Hell. Clorgon, are you there?
Hello, yes, hi.
Thanks for being here with us, Clergar.
Yes, of course. No, it's not often I get to see another face, so this is nice.
Clorgon, tonight's topic is why are ghosts packed into everything? And here in the mortal realm, it seems like ghosts are everywhere. So what our theory is that hell is just packed to the brim and you guys don't have any more room. Is that jive with what you're seeing down there?
Oh, boy, that would be nice. That would be great. But no, it's the opposite, actually. There's literally no one here. Hell is empty. Both hells are empty, actually. So,
Wow.
Did you let everyone out? Like, was there a prison break?
no, that would actually be interesting, too. That would have been a fun day for me. No one has been let into hell yet. I guess the guy upstairs and the guy downstairs are a little stringent because heaven's empty, too. We're all just kind of waiting for somebody to be good or bad or whatever.
So no one's ever been good or bad.
Well, I guess not enough.
I mean, I buy that. It's somewhat surprising, but I believe you immediately.
We were literally ready for a Jenga type situation where we'd kind of stack bodies up 3 at a time horizontally and pull them out when we wanted to torture them.
Did you say Jenga?
Yeah, Jenga type situation. We have plenty of time to play games down here.
Here in Earth, we call it Jenga.
Jenga. That's what I'm saying.
Well, look, we disagree with that take on the word, but we whenever we get to a point where we think a fight is going to break out between our guests and us, we try to move quickly, and that's what we're going to do now.
Klondor. Now you're down there. You're saying you're the only one down there, and part of when we talk to an expert, we want to sort of build a profile. What are you doing with your time if you're just basically in some sort of cosmic empty parking lot?
Yeah, I've been I've been singing a little bit. I made a second, like I said, I made a second hell just in case the floodgates opened.
Are you singing over music or just kind of by yourself in the middle of a cave?
Just making up songs about what's around me. Kind of like have one that's like, fire, fire, bone necklace, I'm a pretty boy. And it's just like things like that, just kind of waiting.
So you're not getting a lot of feedback, I'm guessing, on your music because...
Why would you say that? That's hurtful.
I can sense, and I agree that the music isn't good, so let's keep moving. Look, we're getting to a point where we're just a Clagor or Clondor, just to tell you where we're at, and we don't want to look. We are so sort of frazzled with how many ghosts are stuffed into everything up here that we could use your advice if you know anything.
And we like ghosts.
We like ghosts. That's
the
how
good
many.
Ones.
Yeah, the good ones. Do you have any advice for us?
I know a couple things. I mean, the part of my job is a little bit of loss prevention, so I have to keep tabs on some ghosts. I know that Joan Rivers is she's stuffed inside a polar bear at the National Zoo, the one with the big fat ass. I know that Bernie Mac is in a lug nut in a 16-wheeler, drives for Amazon.
So if we had a free weekend coming up, not to say we have tons of stuff to do all the time, but let's say the next 3 weekends and all weekends after that are free for us, and we rented a van. We got some money. We had some free money. We rented a van, and we drove around and picked up this stuff and drove it to hell. Would that be helpful, or would that get some of the ghosts that are literally stuffed into everything out of this realm?
I mean, you can't come in unless you've done something bad. You got to be a real bad boy to come in. That's the problem.
Let's just say that I did something naughty.
Sure, yeah. What are we talking about? We talking emotional manipulation, gaslighting? We talking like physical stuff?
I don't want to sort of bring it up on the air.
Okay, give me a hint. Give me a little like a little tip of the nose, nod of the finger kind of.
I'd be careful about the next thing you say, Eric, just because we're recording this.
I'll just put it like this: I watched something.
Okay, yeah.
That I shouldn't have been watching.
Yeah, all right. You're naughty boy. You're bad guy.
I was in.
You were a little naughty boy.
Well, just.
If you were a little naughty boy, I might be able to pull some strings. You can hang out down here.
So let's say that option is on the table. Okay, so we can capitalize on whatever it is that Eric saw that he should have never seen. Mm-hmm. So that's a possible option for us to haul some ghosts into hell. Here's another option I just thought up. What if we were to make it seem as if a ghost did something, and he can, under the rules of hell, no longer stay here?
Kind of like stage a fake, a fake naughty incident for a ghost.
I'm not saying we're gonna do that. I'm not saying we would do that, but let's say we will.
Well, I mean that would be great. That would be a good thing for me. Like I said, I'm literally ready for a Jenga type thing down here.
We would love to help out with your Jenga.
Jenga. We'd love to help out. Clondor, it sounds like you've got your little Zen paradise down there, but it sounds like you're chomping at the bit for some visitation. So if we can round up some ghosts and drive them down there, we'll do it. Otherwise, we've got to keep moving on to find out why these ghosts are stuffed into everywhere.
Okay, well, yeah. Just, Eric, hit me up if you want to talk more about that thing.
I don't want to do that.
Okay, but if you do, I'm here to talk.
I don't.
No, but listen,
I don't.
Okay.
But
okay.
Thank you for coming on Clondor.
Yeah, thanks, and
Yeah, I mean,
we really appreciate it.
Yeah, of course, I'll be down here. Just kind of singing my song.
Okay. All right.
Oh boy.
Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Well, that was really surprising. I did not expect hell to be empty. I thought that would be a clear explanation for why ghosts are stuffed into everything.
Well, this is and Cloundor or Clagor, and we don't usually shit on our guests once we have them off the line, but it was an interview in which Eric and I immediately knew it should end. And we get a feeling, we didn't know why, but we were sort of signaling to each other, like, is there a way to end this immediately?
We have a series of foot taps that we can do, and sometimes we'll do this. And I'll just sort of tap on the shoe.
Yeah, and if Eric is doing foot taps that are closer to the switcher that we always have on the floor, that means I want it to end, but I'm not sure I want to pull the trigger on ending it.
Right.
But that is to say, this is why we have more than one theory of why ghosts are stuffed into everything. And it's something, and we need to figure out why. So let's plow forward.
So the next theory that's on the table is that people have things up here that ghosts need, and the ghosts are coming up to get them.
Yeah, so let's say I'm a guy and I'm up to something, and the ghost sees me doing something, and he goes, "That's what I need."
Right. Tell you what, I mean, we could just do that.
Yeah, let's. This is a little this is a little difficult to explain. Yeah, let's. Let me.
Why don't we just? Yeah.
I'm gonna sort of act this out.
So so if we're gonna act this out,
I'm gonna put my headphones down.
okay, I'll play the ghost.
Okay, and I'm a guy. So okay. So let's say I'm standing either in a park or a house.
Right. And I'm standing here, and I see you.
Okay.
And
I'm an inventor, and the scene has begun. I'm an inventor, and I invented this bullwhip and I'm going to use it to get people out of my house.
Oh, and I'm so enamored. I need a bullwhip because I'm in the afterworld, and there's other entities that I must whip.
Yeah, and this part of what I'm saying is not part of the scene, but this is about to be. What are you doing here? Get out.
I need what you've got in your hand.
I need space.
This whip looks better than any whip I've seen here or in the other world.
I'm a torturer, and you've come of your own free will into a place in which I will do what I wish. And then...
But I can torture where I'm from. Though...
And then the scene continues, but you can get where that's going. And so... so the idea... It's not Eric and I, when we came up with that theory, immediately recognized it was not a good theory.
It didn't feel right.
But we knew it was not so far flung that it couldn't absolutely be true.
It was like Peter Sellers and Being There, how, you get this sense of what's right and wrong.
Yeah, like basically, we knew it was idiotic, but we had a vague sense that it was correct. At this point, why don't we, before we get to our final theory, why don't we take a call?
Let's go to the phones.
All right, we have Brian. We have Grace from Pennsylvania on the line. Grace, are you there? Grace. We can hear you. Can you hear us?
Thanks for calling in to Dark of the Night.
We understand you. You have a ghost story. We understand.
I have a ghost story, but first let me tell y'all.
Uh-oh.
You mean so much to me.
We've been sitting here all night.
You keep sitting down, because once you hear my story, you're gonna feel the way I feel. What I'm trying to tell you all is that
Oh my God.
someone who worked in construction. We hit it off. We went to a bar. And he bought me a drink. I thought
Buildings?
he was a
Buildings?
attractive man. in a briefcase. And he said,
We lost you there. Grace, we lost you. We lost you there for a second. You said it's a complex full of buildings.
I said he had building materials. Underneath, there was a sense in which he wasn't a man. He was more than a
Okay.
man.
Uh-huh.
He was a man with an attitude that said, I'm willing to do anything that it
Oh my
takes."
God.
Sudden.
Have you ever had your brother-in-law tell you that you're a micromanager of his wedding? Because his caterer came an hour or two early. Do you know what that's like to be uninvited for your sister's wedding? Let me tell you, it doesn't feel good. Maybe you'd rather go in a ghost's starship.
That's one of those stories that it just, you feel the hair standing up on the back of your neck.
To top line that story, and was your your brother-in-law saw something that changed him, and did he ever talk to you? I mean, you said he only stopped talking for 5 minutes, so he did talk again, but I imagine that he's not the same guy anymore.
He's one of the guys. And when you hear what I'm up to next, you're not gonna think about him. You're gonna think about me. You're gonna think about me. I can't handle both my responsibilities as an entrepreneur.
You know, an encounter changes a man or a woman. It changes them in ways that are irrevocable.
Well, we want to thank you for calling in.
Thanks, Grace. Your story was chilling and thought-provoking. Thanks for calling in.
So that is to say, so there's lots of stories out there of ghosts being jammed every which way into things and people and animals. And so we have a responsibility here to move forward with our final theory of the night.
That's
And
right.
it's the most dangerous theory.
Folks, our final theory is that maybe now is Ghost Fest.
Just hearing someone say that now is Ghost Fest makes me, it doesn't make me piss my pants, but it makes me imagine pissing my pants. So we have, what is Ghost Fest? Well, it's a festival, as it sounds like, it's a festival for ghosts by ghosts. And it is an orgy of violence, and it is dangerous beyond. It is more dangerous than all weapons of mass destruction that are in existence now and will ever be invented, combined.
So Alex put together some of this information represented on these graphics behind us. Alex, can you walk us through what this says about Ghost Fest?
I don't know how much it's going to help, but I'm just going to sort of point. Okay, so what we have here is above me. What we have is a list of all the fests that occur every year: Oktoberfest, Celtic Fest, Wine Fest, the Pitchfork Festival, and Ghost Fest. Now, of course, these things don't happen every year. They happen according to a certain likelihood, and so these are the likelihoods of the various fests to my right. And what you see is there's an 80% chance of Celtic Fest. This is pretty self-explanatory. Pitchfork Fest, these things usually end up happening. There's various reasons in which they don't, but the point being that other than Wine Fest, which usually doesn't happen, Ghost Fest, that's the lowest possible likelihood of fests.
I didn't know that.
So, and then if we cut to our dangerousness, now this is where things really take a sharp turn. Now, you can see how dangerous all the fests are, and it's not that these fests aren't dangerous, it's just that Oktoberfest is 44% dangerous, but Ghost Fest is 2,000% dangerous.
It's almost off the charts.
Now, when Ghost Fest occurs, the first thing that happens is that ghosts are stuffed into everything, which is one of the reasons this happened. When I woke up one morning and my bed was, I had to get rid of my bed because there were so many ghosts in my room, so I had to throw it out. That raised a red flag for me, Eric.
Just seeing that much red, it chills me.
It broke the pie chart. It's saying it's not. The pie chart is basically unreadable.
I mean, Excel wasn't even designed to do what you've done here with this data.
I tried to use Apple numbers, but it still didn't work.
This issue of Ghost Fest is something that we want your input on, the viewers at home.
Or any other theories.
Yeah,
any
so
possible theories.
We want you to call in and give us your take on why are ghosts stuffed into anything. Do any of these theories that we're describing, do they make sense to you?
Yes, we want your calls. Currently, we have Dave from Florida on the line.
Dave, are you there?
Dave, are you there?
Hey guys, how's it going? This is Dave.
Hey, thanks for calling
Dave.
in.
Thanks for calling.
Thank you for letting me talk. I want to talk about Ghostbusters because I want to talk about Ghostbusters and I want to talk about Ghost Fests. I have some theories of my own, a couple concerns, and if you guys are ready to sit, I'm just gonna kind of blast through these. Number one, it makes me think of Ghostbusters. Everything you're talking about makes me think of Ghostbusters, and how everything's just jammed into that containment unit that you kind of stick in the wall. Well, that could, yeah. Well, what if when that gets set free, what happens is all the ghosts are running around and it's just a fucking bullshit fest. It's just a bullshit fest, you know what I mean? Like zeros running around. Like that's what I think of when you're talking about a ghost fest. When you're talking about a ghost fest.
Yeah, that's exactly what Ghost Fest is, Dave.
Zero.
Yes.
Yes, Zero. Zero is from Ghost Fest. Now, the other thing I think is that Ghost Fest is just one big giant festival, right? So what if you had like a million fests, and there's a million ghosts, and one ghost goes to each of the fests. So you know what I mean? Because I'm not done. I'm just kind of throwing out ideas. I'm not dumb. You guys look dumb. You know what I mean?
Brian, go ahead and call the police. That's a great point, Dave.
I accidentally saw Guar in 1999.
Everyone who sees Guar sees them accidentally, I want to say.
But the bathrooms were horrible. I was just going in to get a napkin at this venue, and
bathroom.
Yeah, and the Guar was in there. And let me tell you, Dave, I wanted to get out as bad as a ghost wanted to get out of a containment unit.
Dave.
Yes, when they get out of the containment, you're both dumb, and I'm dumb. But the thing is that if all the ghosts get out of the containment unit like in Ghostbusters, then it doesn't matter if we're dumb, we're all going to be dumb.
Well, that's interesting, Dave. I mean, I think one of the things that you said, and when I was listening to you talk about Ghostbusters, which is one of the great depictions of Ghost Fest, And what you're saying is there a way to spread the ghosts out, like sort of get them all over the place, and not just jammed in. And thanks for calling in, Dave. We're gonna have food for thought for a while. And one of the things that I take away is that if we started more fests, spread the ghosts out, like in the way that Sundance led to Slam Dance. Is there a way to start a shittier, less successful ghost fest?
Well,
with worse ghosts. All the loser ghosts will submit to this loser ghost fest, but then it will eventually pick up steam because it's easier to get in.
well, I think you're on to something, Dave. We're gonna let you go. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Dave.
Dave. You know, Alex, you're on to something here. And I think if we could make people aware of the dangers of Ghost Fest or promote some secondary fest that just allowed people to understand the danger we're all in, that might be a solution that, you know, we can all count on. So what if we reached out? And what I'm talking about is, what if we made a call? Talking about the call of darkness.
This is a segment where we reach out to the outside world when we need to find something that we don't know how to find.
Yeah, instead of people calling us, we call you. Brian, I think we need a paranormal resource out there to talk this subject matter through. So can you get someone on the line for us?
We need someone that we can talk to about starting some alternative fests.
Yeah.
To ghost fests, so that we can spread the ghosts around. Okay, we're waiting. We're calling.
Here we go.
You reached the IPS 24-hour hotline. If you're
Who is this,
getting
Brian?
message, it is because we are busy on site and we'll call you back as soon as possible. If you're getting
Paranormal
this
Research
because
Society.
You called in on a blocked or unknown number, we're not accepting those calls anymore. So you can leave your name and number and we'll call you back as soon as possible. Otherwise, if it's a blocked name and number, we will not return any calls.
Are we
or
blocked?
answer any phone calls.
We might be
Thank
blocked.
you for calling. The IPS hotline.
VIP.
VIPS
Message after the
hotline.
tone. Simply hang up when done. Or for delivery options, press the pound sign.
Delivery options. Let's get those.
Hi, this is Eric Yearwood,
And I'm Alex Meyers.
and we're calling to discuss with you the possibility of starting a fest that would be an alternative to Ghost Fest.
The idea being, ghosts. They are stuffed into everything, so we want to try to spread them out. With less, if there's a less popular fest to Ghost Fest, maybe ghosts will apply to that, but we don't know how to start our own fest. It's sort of like how Sundance cropped up and nobody could get into Sundance, and so they started Slam Dance, and it was like a shittier fest that nobody could get, people could get into who couldn't get into Sundance.
If that sounds appealing to you, you can call us back at the number on our screen, and we can discuss maybe profit sharing and how to get that started. So thanks, and this is Dark of the Night signing off. Well, paranormal researchers are some of the busiest people in showbiz.
Especially now, because there are I can't stress this enough, there are so many ghosts doing all sorts of stuff to everyone.
Brian, let's get another call going through.
Let's call a restaurant.
Who
Who are we calling? We are calling a restaurant.
Okay.
What are we going to say to Pizza Hut? What are we looking for here?
Sponsorship.
Sponsorship.
Now, I'm not wanting to freak anybody out who picks up the phone, but we're going to go right in, I think. We're going to have to just lay it on the line and tell them if they're not familiar with ghosts and what they're doing, we may have to get into that a little bit.
And I don't want to sound like I had a second train of thought going while you were saying that, but it sounds like Pizza Hut doesn't want to answer.
Brian, is there maybe Papa John's, maybe a...
Look, Pizza Hut is a big brand to try to get to sponsor yourself. I think Papa John's is a great idea because he went ahead and said that he doesn't support protesting. They are hurting right now.
Yeah, they're hurting, and they're probably going to be wanting to get in on what we got cooking.
Yes, that's a great idea. Start with sponsorship.
And then take it from there.
Should I let you? You're more of the businessman.
I've been around the block and around the horn. Oh, good God.
You know, I'm not happy about reaching out to Papa John, but if it works out, then I don't want to. I am ready to.
What is this? Okay. I think let's keep it moving. Well, we weren't successful in calling anyone, but
That's a good sign. This happens 90% of the time.
folks,
And it's what we call a red letter situation, because what it means is that we don't need an outside word to figure things out. What we need is to look inward. We need to look towards
the dark truth.
The truth is that we learned a lot tonight. We learned about festivals. We learned about ghosts. We learned that hell only has one guy down there, and he's walking around just kind of waiting for a truckload of ghosts to show up for us to unload them and take them downtown and book them. Like an old episode of Hawaii Five-0. Ghosts are stuffed into everything. Wouldn't usually be a problem. Except for forever, because that's not good. It's not good at all. Because when I wake up in the morning and I want to sit up, and that's not happening because there's ghosts stuffed into my room, you can bet your ass I'm gonna at least complain to my landlord first, because I'm gonna say, is this just happening in my building? Or is it happening everywhere? And when I found out that it's stuffed in everywhere, I basically decided we have to do a show about this. Now, that being said, we're going to start a bunch of festivals where the ghosts can go, and they're going to be shittier than Ghost Fest. I don't know how we're going to start them or how they're going to be sponsored. But they will be started and they will be sponsored. Billy Bob Thornton is a good actor, even though he's only a mediocre guitar player and lead singer for his band. I saw him interviewed on a radio show where he got really upset when they even, mention the fact that he was an Academy Award-winning actor because he wants to be taken seriously as a musician. I don't know if he'll get there. I think that it's hard to be an actor and a rock star. Captain Kirk looks physically strong when he takes his shirt off. That doesn't mean I'm attracted to him, but it means that he's a good fit for the captain of that starship. Spock took his shirt off in one episode. He looked thin, and you could tell he's thin before he takes his shirt off. Now, Scotty got fat later. All these things are fine. One isn't better than the other. But what I'm saying is that roles should be assigned to you based on how physically fit you are. And that is just common sense. That is why the Romans existed for 1,000 perfect years. There were 3 Uhuras in my gymnasium the other day, and they were all working out. And they were doing squats, and I came up and I was like, "Are you guys looking for me?" And the one looked at me and she said, "I see you and I know you. I want to be known by you." So we got some Boston baked beans and ate them in the parking lot, and I had a change of heart. And I think that's what made me the man I am tonight.
We want to thank you for tuning in. Ghosts are stuffed into everything. We don't know why, but we have an actionable next step, which is just to start a ton of festivals.
Folks, be on the lookout when you're Googling festivals, when you're thinking about going to Burning Man or Coachella. Think about coming to Dark of the Nightchella. It's gonna happen. Because if there's one thing about the paranormal, it brings people together.
Have a good night, and remember, these
are the days of our lives.